Hey everybody, Thomas here, and today I know a lot of people have been asking about this, and I've been kind of negligent in trying to get this out. This is going to be the essentially, say, 375 hour review. I'm at 373-ish hours, I think, right now on this tractor. This is, again, the Massey Ferguson 2705E. I am absolutely 100% extremely impressed and happy with this purchase. I made this purchase about 2 years ago, and this tractor has really been essentially the largest workhorse around the farm. Now, things that drew me to this tractor were the 4-cylinder Subaru diesel engine. That's a very good, well-known Japanese diesel manufacturer. They make a lot of tractor engines of various sizes. Also, this one does not have a diesel we call it like a regen cycle on it. This has a diesel, doesn't have diesel particulate filter, excuse me. It has a diesel catalytic converter on it. So it does run an EGR and stuff like that, but it doesn't have all this regen stuff you have to worry about like on some of the other large tractors. This is essentially a 4 Series type tractor. If you're looking at John Deere and stuff like that, it's a very capable tractor as well as being very compact. So I've been very happy with the maneuverability of this tractor, the power of this tractor, and today we're going to actually be using the tiller here to go into the back where the goat pasture is and get ready to put some seed out. So I'm going to do a couple things, a couple videos all together and everything. I'll talk about everything on this tractor, the issues I've had, which have been very minor at that, and what we're looking about doing in the future. So stay tuned. Alright, so there was some time lapse of us going over and tilling up pretty much everything out here. I got one log right here I gotta move. But we did a pretty dang good job at clearing this stuff. And then this ground is nice and soft. And it's kind of a torture test really for that tiller, because I'm using it to remove roots too. So there are, you know, there's root section right there. There's a really big root thing right there. I keep on hitting. I've been hitting that for 4 years, and it's working. But as you can see, though, I mean, this thing just tills the ground over. That's a decent amount of fresh dirt there. Just, you know, just gently put over. It looks great and everything. So let's go ahead and get on the tractor, and I'll tell you a few things that I really love about this tractor, and some little things here and there that are kind of annoyances, but I haven't done anything about it. So as you can see, still don't have my floor painted up yet. I really want to paint that at some point. I was just thinking about this earlier. So you see I have some residue there on the quick disconnects here. Yeah, there's some slight weepage. I won't even call it leak. It's just weepage. I'll do that, and then maybe a month later I might have some more sawdust built up on there. It doesn't pool down below or anything. It just is enough just to keep, you know, things sticking around that valve lock there. This is a utilitarian tractor. There are no bells and whistles on this thing, meaning there's less things to break, and it's also what keeps the price of this tractor down. This tractor was one of the models I was looking at. I also compared it against a John Deere 4 Series. And the John Deere 4 Series, and I was actually looking at the 44M. Sorry, I thought I heard something. It was birds in the background, but it is a 4044M, and then the 4062 or something like that. Well, this tractor here was roughly, if I can't remember exactly, it was like almost $10,000 less. Maybe it was $8,000, but anyways, nonetheless, this is a very affordable tractor, and it has the same, if not more, capabilities in the way of lifting and horsepower and stuff like that than the John Deere I was looking at. Now, John Deere is a great brand. We've owned many John Deeres and everything, and I'm very happy the way that they performed. However, with John Deere, rightfully so, they are a American company with a great reputation and everything, but you are paying a lot for that green and yellow name that you have on there. This Massey Ferguson, it's also a great company. This tractor, I believe, was built in Duluth, Georgia. I think. I don't know. It's built somewhere. The engine on here, so on the smaller John Deeres, they're using Japanese engines. Same with Kubotas. They're using, of course, Kubota diesels. But on the John Deere, they're using Yanmars. This has the 4-cylinder Subaru diesel, another Japanese company, and it's a great diesel engine. I mean, if you look online, if you look up the history of the company and everything, they made a lot of small tractors and everything, but it's a well-renowned name for tractor engines over in Japan, and the quality is very, very high. Now, this engine here, again, it's a 4-cylinder, does not have a diesel particulate filter. It uses a diesel, what do you call it, catalytic converter. It does have an ERG and stuff like that, but again, you don't have that dousing of the diesel particulate filter, and then you don't have to go through a regen cycle where it heats up and cooks off all that soot. This is a very clean burning diesel. It's also relatively quiet. Now, I know it sounds loud on camera, and it's really hard to explain it, but this is, for the size that it is and everything, it doesn't just, drain or drone in your head and stuff like that. It's a very moderately sounding tractor. So again, without all the bells and whistles, so this thing will not tell you the speed of your PTO. It will not tell you, it'll tell you engine hours. It'll tell you your tachometer, what your RPM's at. It'll tell you your fuel. It'll do some lights, so you can see the light thing turned on there for brights and everything, and it'll turn and show you your blinkers. There's not a whole lot on this dash, and when you first crank it up, there you go. That shows you all the lights you could potentially see. Not very many. Very simple design. Cranks up every single time. The glow plugs don't stay lit on this that long, even in cold weather. I've never had the glow plugs light up for more than just a couple seconds, and it cranks up every time. I've never had a fail to crank cycle of the engine. So we're gonna go ahead and engage the PTO, which I do like this. You have to, you can push this down all you want, it won't do anything. You push it down and you turn it, it gives you your PTO light there. So we got our PTO going. About 2,000 RPM is what I've been working at. Get my bucket down. And overall, I mean, it's pretty quiet. The 4-wheel drive, the steering, so very maneuverable. I was hoping you could see that in the let's see, go and turn the sucker all the way over. That's maxed out on steering. And you'll see how tight of a circle this is. Alright. So, there's my turning circle right there. I'm not going to get off and measure it with a tape, but just looking at my dog, that's somewhere in like a 10-foot turning diameter. That's pretty good, with an attachment on the back. And I'm in 4-wheel drive. 4-wheel drive, again, is done by lifting of this lever. That's 2-wheel drive, and then down is into 4-wheel drive. And all it does is it moves the shaft forward to engage that front set of wheels. The R4 tires, I'm a big fan of. Great tires. One of the things that I do have potential issues with from time to time is getting the front end to lift up off the ground. Now, I know that sounds funny, but if I am wanting to lift the front end up to do some type of work on the front axles, I have a hard time lifting it up, because what happens is I go into a float mode on my front end loader. Let's see if I can do it. I go into a float mode. Yeah, so it keeps on wanting to go to a float, and I can get the front end up most of the time, but sometimes it's difficult, because I think what it is, I'm maxed out on my rams here and everything. So in order to lift the front end up, I actually need to have something to push off of, like a trailer bed or something like that, which is actually not a bad thing, because I will say this, on previous tractors, it will sometimes just lift the front end up all the time. So that was interesting, because one time I was trying to change my tire and everything, and it took me a second. I'm like, why isn't the front end lifting me up? And it's because I kept on going into the float mode on my front end loader. And again, looking at the stroke there, there's not a whole lot of a stroke I've got right there. I'm pretty much maxed out. So you have to have something on the ground, or you tilt your bucket down to give you a little more room. All in all though, fantastic tractor, 373 hours with no issues. You change the oil, hit your Zerk fittings, and what I'll do is at the end of this video also, I think I've showed this before, but I'll show again where the Zerk fittings are at and everything, and do one more walk around. But all in all, I can't say enough about this tractor. It is the workhorse of the farm. It's the most used piece of equipment. Second only, well, it is the most used. The second used, most used equipment is of course my sawmill. But the whole reason why I got this one was for the front end loader and the capacity that it has at lifting, and that's to get the logs up onto the sawmill. Very, very happy with this tractor. It's very well sized. My buddies have some LS tractors. 3 of my buddies have LS tractors, and they're great tractors too. This one sits a little bit higher than an LS tractor, which I like. The LS, I felt like it was a little bit lower to the ground. However, I do feel, even though I'm a little bit higher, probably about 6 inches higher or so, this thing does have a very great, it feels very stable. And with the weight of the tractor, plus the fact that I added fluid to the tires, that really helps keep this thing planing on the ground. So, give me 1 second, we'll do some more video here in a second. All right, folks, so this is another interesting situation. Now, I actually just did mess up my my rake earlier. I backed into a tree and bent the crap out of it. That's neither here nor there. It's got plenty of power. So what I'm doing right now is I pushed this tree over a second ago. I'm trying to get this area cleaned out with some of these smaller trees and dig this back out. But I'm going to use the tractor to pull it out. Now, if you can tell, the tractor is on quite a reversed incline right here. Let me try to get on here without busting my butt. This is a very steep. Now, in doing this, I know I'm going to be slipping. Actually, I didn't have to lower it down just a little bit. I did not even engage the differential lock. I'm about to do that right now. So my foot is down differential lock. I'm trying not to flip over doing this one-handed. It's definitely lifting the back end of the tractor up off the ground. This is real world stuff right here, folks. Jerk it. Nope, I'm in the rut. I'm right now lifting the back end of the tractor up off the ground. Like riding a fucking Bronco. Woo-hoo! There we go. Jerking it out. It is so close. There we go. Every time you hear that click noise, that's actually the differential lock going in and out. Look at that. Pull this beastly tree out. So that shows you real world what this tractor can do. Now this is only a water oak, but gotta take it out of drive. Even with the parking brake on, she'll jump on you. So there we go. Got this water oak out. That's a pretty big root ball there and everything. Pretty long, as you can see. I was dragging crap out from the water as well. It only been in the water for a little bit, but the incline I was working on actually kind of filled in the hole right here, but my tires were slipping right here. This is where my front tires were, and the back tires, they were gripping as much as they could, but I was just stuck in that little rut. So by lifting up with the front forks and everything and doing a few other iterations there, we got that sucker out. Again, very nimble tractor. This tractor is under 5,000 pounds, I believe. I'll have to take it, maybe I'll throw it up on the screen what the actual weight is. But I was able to rip this out, and we planted, so right there next to that, we planted, they can't really see it that well, but we planted some trees here the other day. I'm trying to get some cypress trees to grow out here because I think this would be really cool. And I want to dig this section out right here a little bit more. I like this overhanging live oak tree, but I want to clear this section out. The next tree to come down will be this one right here. The top of this blew out during Hurricane Zeta as well. And by getting this one out, I think it's going to open up this section right here, so we'll be able to cast a little bit better. But if I also dig this out, it'll be nice. I'll do that with a track hoe, not with a tractor, because I will definitely sink if I get the tractor much lower than what I already had it. So again, 2705E, pulled it out no problem. I had to do some finagling with it, but we got it out. Next, we're gonna go pull down a tree over by the house. It's a popcorn tree, and we're gonna hook up the tractor to it and see if she'll pull it down. So stay tuned. So as I talked about in the video, I did completely bend up my rake right here. So what I'm gonna do is very precisely use this stump to straighten them back out. Look at that. Just about. Do a little bit more. Well, that's a lot better than what it was, because I did 3 iterations with that. One of them not shown on camera, but that straightened it out quite a bit more. Now I'm going to do a quick jerk on it. And there we go. That's decent. It'll work. It'll still rake things up. I might have to tweak on it just a little bit more, but that'll work. Now let's go on to that tree. Well, folks, I don't know exactly what happened, but I think the dog may have put her nose on the camera and turned it off. And what you can see, I really wish you could have seen this, because yes, it did pull it over, kind of, sort of, kind of. And right now I'm just tearing up the yard, so. But I'll show you what she did, and I cannot believe it did this, but I'm pretty sure Annie came up to the camera, touched her nose to it, and just happened to hit the stop recording button. But as you can see, it is pulling the entirety of the root section out with it. I've got it pinned right now, so I'm going to move my chain up here a little bit higher and then try pulling it down without causing this thing to slap me in the face at 1,000,000 miles an hour. That's no fun. Dog? Just tripped on the dog. So I'm going to get some different angles here. I'll throw in a time lapse because this is going to take me a little bit, but I'll hook up the chain a little bit higher and see if we can pull her free without having to use any tools. And the good thing is it's getting all this junk off the fence there as well, because I need to put up more fencing along here, and just by removing this will make it much easier. Plus, this is a popcorn tree, and they're just garbage. There's nothing good about them. They just sprout things all over the place, and they're an invasive species, so it's best to get rid of them. I don't know if Annie smells something in there, but we'll be getting this tree gone. The tree right there is a pecan tree. I'll keep it, even though I don't like having pecan trees next to the house. It's just, I'll have to wait till my buddy gets here with an excavator. Maybe we clear that one out, and eventually I gotta get that behemoth down right there. So stay tuned. Let me throw on the time lapse, and we'll get this sucker down without using any tools, hopefully. So how about that, folks? That was a pretty good run there where I got this sucker out, and Annie, she's here in the hole. Got all the root section out. There's a little bit right here still left. Got the part off the fence there I wanted to get off. Very happy. Didn't break any wire, so oh well. But the root section that came out with this is pretty large. This is just one less thing I have to dig out of the ground. Let's see if I can show size comparison. Lucy, right here. There you go. Good girl. Well, here, sit right here. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Stay. There we go. See, there's size comparison, kind of, sort of. That's a pretty big root system right there. And it pulled it out. It broke it off and got it out of the ground. Again, it's a popcorn tree. Not the strongest of trees. They do break quite a bit during storms, but it's one less tree I have to worry about around the house. And I'm cleaning up this fence row right here. So, pretty impressive though, the raw power of this 2705E Massey Ferguson. It has not let me down. I'm very happy 2 years into my purchase on this tractor, and really looking forward to buying another one down the road. Maybe even a little bit bigger, we'll see. Other than that, let's see what else we gotta do. We gotta show some other stuff with this tractor, but real quick, I'll go around again. Changing the oil on this is pretty easy, and I'll refer back to a previous video in the link below. The number I have on here is 3402 for the oil filter, and that is I believe that's a Bosch. I can't see it right now, but anyways, if you look right there, 3402 is the number on the filter. I am due for another oil change here soon. In fact, let's see what the oil looks like. It ain't bad. It's all over the place because I was just running the engine and everything. I haven't let it set down. But oil's looking pretty good. It has stayed very clean. The turbo on this thing is very quiet. You don't get a lot of turbo noise. The fuel filter, and then like the relief, if you want to call it, is like right down here. So if you ever get water leaches, where you get like water in the bottom of your fuel, you can clean it out. I've got a little bit of sludge down there, not too much. I'll clean it out at some point. The deck, I still need to go back and put some liner liner stuff on the deck. I will be doing that. Hell, I said that the past few videos. I'll do that at some point. Because I use it so often, it doesn't really build up any rust. So really no concern there. But if I do add some traction there, I will say definitely when I was on that hillside pulling out the other log, a little bit more traction would have been nice. My boots are getting a little bit slick. I've talked about this before. Make sure you're checking the torque on your bolts every so often. Every once in a while I'll hear like a little click, and that means that one of those has maybe loosened up a little bit. So I really should go back and put Loctite on those, but it happens so infrequently, I'm not too concerned about it. Make sure you're hitting your Zerk fittings. You got Zerk fittings on your front axle for the steering right on top there. You've got Zerk fittings for your right here. This is what goes from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive. I guess the Zerk fittings on the other side, but there are Zerk fittings on there. The front end axle right here, I've had to add oil to this. When I first got this tractor, I did have a little bit of leakage on the bottom of the seal. There's a seal on the bottom right here. There's like it's a freeze plug, really is what it is. And all I had to do is tap it back in there, and it's been fine ever since then. I think it actually vibrated out on the drive down from Tennessee to here. It's kind of funny. You see, I do have a little dent right here. I did take a tree limb to the front of this a while back, and I've taken a few hits. You can see there's one right there, and I've taken a few hits on the hood here with limbs, but since that is in fact metal, no concern there. I also did jack up the what do you want to call this thing, the brush guard right here. It's hard to tell, but you see it does bend back some. In order to bend that back out, I hit something with it. I don't remember what. All I did was I hooked the chain onto the forks and then onto here and pulled the sucker out. So, as you saw earlier when I straightened up my rake there, you can use the tractor to straighten itself up. The front end loader, very robust front end loader. I've had no issues with anything on there. I know I've had someone ask about this blue diamond attachment. So this is a blue diamond attachment. made here in the USA and everything. The plate that used to say all the specs on it was right here, but I'm pretty rough with things, and that was just riveted on there. That got ripped off. But this is rated for like 4,500 pounds, I believe. And Blue Diamond, I mean, there's your symbol right there. I don't recall this being too expensive, but it's a very good set of forks. I do like how it has the little levers right here that locks it into the channels. And if you come to the center portion right here, this is how you actually take the forks off. They will not slide off the ends because they've got keepers right here. One of the things that I had on my last tractor, which would be nice, and I might come back and do this, is I actually had a hitch, like a 2-inch receiver, like in a hitch right here. That's really nice when you're trying to back up a trailer, and you can use this to actually back up the trailer. The quick attach is pretty nice. Very simple to use. The John Deere one's very simple to use, but these are very simple. You just lift them up, and they have like these little keepers right here. As you can see, they just slide into there. So any standard skid steer attachments will work on here, so that's pretty nice. Again, a little turbo on there, right there. She's small and she's very quiet. I don't actually really ever hear it. The cockpit, plenty of room. I love the cockpit. Don't really have any issues with clearances. Get on and off it, no problem all the time. Something I did do on the back here. So Massey Ferguson, they give you these really nice, you know, little clips right here. And I can't do that with one-handed right now. But on the other side, I did lose my clip. And then I put a smaller one in there, and now it is stuck in there because I bent the absolute crap out of it, because I'm a bit rough on things sometimes. The sight gauge here on the back, again, that's the sight to tell you your oil in the back here. I do wish that there was some kind of dipstick up here at the top, because there's nothing that tells you how much oil you have in there. If you have an oil leak, I guess just kind of keep an eye on that. That's one thing I wish that there was a dipstick on. That'd be really nice if there was. The rear attachment here, I actually not use those. I do have something I'm going to borrow from one of my buddies, and hopefully be using those here soon. So that'll be fun. And actually, something else I'm looking at doing, I am thinking about getting a grapple attachment. Now, for putting logs on and off the sawmill, the forks is absolutely, hands down, my favorite way to do it. But I'm gonna look at getting a grapple for whenever I'm clearing up like brush and crap like this. One thing you want to make sure, if you do have a grapple on there, if you're going to use your rear hydraulics to do that. So I'm going to actually just hook up the 2 lines to here, and I'll run the lines up to the front, and my opening and closing will be done with this right here. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that it's spring loaded. If you actually hook it up, so my buddy Jack has an LS tractor, he actually hooked his up to, he's got 2 sets. He's got one that's spring loaded and one that's not spring loaded. If you do not hook it up to the correct one, if you hook it up to the one that's not spring loaded, if you leave it in that location right there, it is continually pressing down on there to try to squeeze, you know, the grapple closed. And if you do the same thing in the open position, you want something that will spring back to almost like a neutral position, and it will hold whatever the last position was without going any more or any less. The hoses here, no issue with having these up high. I thought there would be some issue with those. But in actuality, I've never actually hit these with anything, knock on wood. And they've stayed out of the way. I do like how they have these little protective little sheaths on them, if you will. That's been working out pretty well. You tired, Annie? Yup, tired. So hound dogs are always tired. Again, I'm a big fan now of the fuel being down low. If you've ever had to load fuel up on top of the hood of the tractor, it's kind of a pain in the butt. I was also afraid that I'd be, you know, puncturing this fuel tank, this, that, and the other. Again, not the case. The ground clearance on this tractor is ample enough that that's not really an issue. All in all, I've been very happy with this tractor. I will say red paint does oxidize. I am getting some oxidation on here just because, well, I don't wax it. It's a tractor. So that does fade over time, and with red paint, you will get some oxidation that does occur more so than on some other colors. But again, that's all cosmetics, and I got this tractor to use it and work it like a tool, and I'm using it like the tool that it is. So if you, again, if you're looking for a tractor that doesn't necessarily have all the bells and whistles, it won't tell you your PTO speed, and it won't give you, you know fancy whatever. This is a tractor that is made to work and work hard every single day. And let me tell you, I'm using this tractor. I've had it for 2 years now. Now I'm over 377 hours on here. I do not have a complaint about this tractor. It's been absolutely probably the best investment for the farm, second only to the sawmill, because the sawmill actually makes money. This right here doesn't necessarily make me money, but well, it does, because it works in tandem with the sawmill. So yes, this tractor does make me money. And I've gone out during hurricane season. I went out and I cleared 7 properties. I went out to 7 different people's properties and cleared logs off of their houses, off of their barns, off of whatever. This tractor is somewhat light enough and everything. I can throw it on my gooseneck trailer, really no problem, and it's just easy to throw on there and take with you. It's not overly large. You want to make sure you get a tractor that's not too big and not too small. This one's just right. It's, you know, it's the mama bear porridge. It's just right. So again, it's nimble enough to get around my farm. We've only got 5 acres here, and really getting a tractor that's over 50 horsepower for 5 acres, it seems kind of overkill. However, you never know where the Navy's going to send me. So, you know, my next duty location, I could buy a farm that has 50 acres, and this would be perfect. My first tractor I had, again, was a John Deere 3032E. I absolutely love that tractor, but it was a bit small, and it really couldn't handle what I needed to do on the sawmill. So again, there's really no frills on this tractor. It is made to work, and it is made to work hard. It doesn't have, again, all the fancy bells and whistles I think I showed on the dash earlier in the video. It doesn't have a lot of things that pop up on the dash. It's pretty simple. You got your tack, you got your fuel, you got your hour meter, and then you have some indication lights that come on from time to time. But other than that, I mean, pretty simple. So, and very, very cost effective. By keeping this thing simple, not having that diesel particulate filter, not having all those fancy bells and whistles, not having an overly just massive amount of computer systems controlling things, they keep the cost of this tractor down. And that's really what I was in the market for, because I got this tractor less than $30,000 with all the attachments. That's the front end loader, the bucket, the forks, the box blade, and the tractor. I mean, this is a very well-built, stout tractor for the money. I mean, I could not find a better deal. I know there's some Mahindras out there that are pretty good deals, and there's the LSs are pretty good deals, but for me, this is where I wanted to go. I'm very happy with the brand Massey Ferguson. It's been my father-in-law is a really big fan of it, and he's the one that really said you need to take a look at them. So if you're interested, go take a look at them. Check out your dealership nearby, or if you're in the southern Mississippi area, you want to come on over, heck, you can come on over and drive this tractor. I don't care. I've let many of people drive this tractor. It's pretty simple. It's so easy. You know, it's so easy a caveman can do it. All right, y'all. We'll see you around. Stay tuned. If you like what you're seeing, please like, subscribe. A lot more to come on the channel. We'll see you around. Thanks.